finesse the source. I master the course, and I'm still alive, man. Jesus walks.
Alright guys, it's a different type of video today. It's not my usual settings, because today I'm actually at the court to listen in to the hearing. Shout out Clue and Bouncer. That's what we're doing here today. So yeah, making my way into the court now, and I'll be back in a little bit to give you an update. Okay, so I just went into the court and they said to me that I could go in there and sit down, but I won't find out what courtroom it is until 10 o'clock. The time is now 9:20, so that's like 40 minutes. So I'm just gonna wait a little bit, and then I'm gonna come back inside so I can find out exactly what courtroom is gonna be going on in, so I can sit inside and listen and get find out what's actually going on. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, man. Okay, so I just left Ghetts' court case, and I'm gonna explain to you guys what happened. Justin Clark Samuels, aka Ghetts, court case started around 11 AM this morning, 27th of October at Barkingside Magistrates Court, where I sat in attendance with friends, family. His father was in attendance, and ITV News, and myself. Ghetts, aka Justin Clark Samuel, attended the case whilst being escorted by 3 prison guards, 2 males, 1 female. The judge began by asking Ghetts to confirm his full name, date of birth, and current address. As it stands, Ghetts is being charged with death by dangerous driving. The prosecutors explained that Ghetts knocked over the individual and threw him up to 60 to 70 feet. He was left bleeding from his head. A member of the public went to help once they saw the individual on the floor with his items scattered in the street. He was bleeding from his head and he had a pool of blood beside him. The member of public said he was non-responsive, so they began to give him CPR until the ambulance came. He had 2 collapsed lungs, fracture to the brain, and suffered cardiac arrest. A motorist who witnessed the incident gave Ghetts' car registration to the police. Police then went to his address hours later, and he seemed to not remember, and he asked the police, "What car was I driving?" They searched his house and found the key for his BMW, but they couldn't see the car. They then searched the local area around his house and found that the car was parked away from his property, even though he had a parking space on his drive. The CCTV at his home address showed that Ghetts was the only person to get out of the car wearing the same clothing on the night. They saw the significant damage to the car with a cracked windscreen and missing side mirror that was found on the scene and was linked to his vehicle. He was then taken to Islington Police Station. They also took a mouth swab which was positive for cannabis, and a breathalyzer which was also positive for alcohol on his breath. He said that his car had collided with another car, but the motorist obviously saw different. CCTV from the petrol station on the same night of the incident shows Ghetts get out of the car, fill up petrol, and go to pay. It shows he was the only person in the car as he walked away and locked the doors. Police also accessed cell site information that shows his journey along the roads that the collision had happened. He was interviewed by police and gave a no-comment interview all the way and gave no access to his mobile phone at the time. The prosecution then went... There's a lot to cover, so follow me as I will be posting a part 3. Now, before I get into everything else, which I might have to do in a second video because, yeah. But, yeah, so Ghetts came into the courtroom, grey sweater, grey jogging bottoms, like the police, like the prison give the prisoners and all that. He didn't look too bad, you know, he had his usual beard and everything. He looked like he lacked a little bit of sleep, if I'm being honest. He did look like he lacked a little bit of sleep. When he entered the dock, you know, like, I don't know if you lot have been to court before or whatever, but I'm going to explain it for those of you who haven't been to court and may not know how it is. So basically, you enter through one door, like all the friends and family and everyone that wants to, the public that want to view the case and hear, You enter through one door, and then there's seats. You get to sit down on the seats, and then they've got like a dock on the side, which is like a room, but it's got windows in it, glass windows. And in that room, there's a door where all the people going up for trial come in and out of that door. So as the prison guards have opened that door, and one of them have walked in, they've just made sure that the door, there's another door in the dock as well that lets you come out to the public. So they just made sure that that door was locked. She locked it, whatever. They brought Ghetts in. As Ghetts came in, he saw obviously his friends and family. He's nodding, saying hello to everyone, sort of thing, you know. Then he goes into the corner of the dock where the chair is for him to take a seat and for him to face the judge. And at that moment, that's where it began, basically, you know. The judge starts speaking to him, whatever, saying what I said already in this video: state your name and date of birth and your current address, whatever. And then the judge then looks to the prosecutor, who's sitting at the front row. So there's rows in it. So I was sitting right at the back row. Then there's another row, and then they've got like the little box part where the prosecutors sit and whatever. And then there's seats on the side as well where other people who's part of the case sit in and listen, whatever. So yeah, then the judge started speaking to the prosecutor, like explain whatever say. And then the prosecutor started explaining, yeah, he was arrested for XYZ, and this is what he was charged with before, but as it stands right now, the actual charge is going to be death by dangerous driving. Let me just go back to my notes to make sure everything's accurate. Yeah, so as it stands right now, it was death by dangerous driving. And then the prosecutor then started going on to explain everything that I was taking notes of, you know, that I was explaining about what had happened on the night and when they found him and all of the stuff that happened, explaining all of those stuff. And then the prosecutor also then goes on to explain why he shouldn't be granted bail. The prosecutor was basically explaining that he's got so many offences, which I'm gonna get into in part 3. He's got so many offences in relation to vehicles and other offences as well. And the prosecutor was basically saying they don't think it's safe for him to be on the streets, which is absolutely crazy. They're basically saying, bro, the prosecutor's basically trying to paint him to be a menace to society, blood, which is very deep. So yeah, the prosecutor is saying they don't think it's safe for him to be out. He shouldn't be granted bail. And then after explaining everything, they went back to the judge. And by the way, like, obviously, from a fan point of view, like, man just listening to Ghetts' music, and obviously, man's not thinking man are doing so much craziness, but the prosecutor basically dragged up his whole file and had a whole list of all of his crimes. Did I write it down? Yeah. Oh, yeah. The prosecutor brought out his list explaining how many offences against his name, including all the driving offences, driving with no insurance. Yeah, so I'll get into that into the next video because I'm going to make another one. But yeah, so, and then the verdict was that the judge said, with everything that's been said today and everything that's happened, they are now going to state that, you know what, I'll mention that in part 2 as well. So with that being said, myself Rage, subscribe to the YouTube channel, so you don't miss nothing. And remember one thing only, God is the greatest.
Jesus walks, them man close the mouth when I speak. I got the keys, voice of the streets.